Hey everyone, it's Corey and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be having a good chat with my good friend Moses. I've known Moses for about 6 years now and we've expanded a large company together. We've cried together, laughed together, traveled together. I've had a good opportunity to get to know him very, very well. And the reason I want him on my channel is because Moses is an amazing gentleman. He's extremely inspiring. He's got a wealth of wisdom, knowledge, a lot of experience. He's a very successful entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur, I'd say. He's got a few businesses and just an all-round good guy. And I'll be honest, like every time I hang around him, I'm starting to feel a bit guilty and a bit selfish because I think he just needs to be shared. And I just want to share him with you guys. So thanks for coming on the channel, Moses. I really appreciate it. How you going?
Thank you for having me. Look, actually, it's an honor for you to even ask me to do this because you know how I feel about you too. You know, you've always been very inspiring since I met you. Yeah, I'm honored to be here.
Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time out because I know you're a really busy guy. So got my questions, guys, and let's get started. So Moses, just tell everyone a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you do. Like, I know a lot about you, but the viewers don't know anything about you. So just tell them a little bit about yourself.
So just quickly, for those of you who doesn't know me, my name is Moses Omamo. As Corey said, I was actually sponsored to Australia by my brother, Israel Omamo. Maybe a few of you guys will know him, about 27 years ago. Prior to that, I got deported, and that's a different story. But yeah, talk about things happen for a reason. So for those of you who might be going through a hard time now, just know that there's always going to be the light at the end of the tunnel. Because if something bad doesn't happen to you, something good is not going to follow.
Nice, beautiful. That's why I love hanging out with you, man, because you always got a wealth of wisdom. So here we go. Let's ask you another question. So Moses, what's the best advice you've ever received and who was it from?
Okay, the best advice I've ever received, I'll probably will say is from my mom. I was very close to my mom my mom passed away a few years ago. But yeah, she told us a lot of things when we were growing up. But back then, because we were so young, most of the things doesn't really make sense. But as you get older and start traveling and all that, few things start coming together. So one thing that I would say impacted my life a lot, she always tell us repetitiously, because I come from a very poor background. But she always tells us, don't ever think anyone is better than you. And at the same time, don't think you're better than anyone.
Beautiful, man.
So I carry that everywhere I go.
Yeah. And like I said, I've known you for 6 years, and dude, I can honestly say that is you. That is you. Just watch the little microphone thing there. But that is who you are. So you definitely took that on board. That's beautiful, man.
Thank you.
So, have you had a defining moment in your life? Have you ever had, a defining moment in your life, or more than one? Like, has there been,
The defining moment in my life is, you see, because they said through adversities, when you're going through problem, that's when you actually define who you are. Because if you don't go through problem, I believe that every successful person that I've met, I've gone through some form of they've been so down, and you have to work yourself back.
Yeah.
So the adversities that I've experienced, that there's been few, but the defining moments, as you said, is just being able to take risk. I think risk taking should be taught in school. Yeah. It should be part of life, because all our life, right from when we're kids, all we get told is don't do this, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Then we grow up with that fear of challenging ourselves. And I think some people carry that fear throughout the rest of their life. Whereas I was very fortunate. I met good people along the way. Someone like you, someone like my brother Israel, my mom, of course. And then because there's no use learning something and not using it. So that's the difference. Some people have knowledge about a lot of things, but they actually don't practice it. So, but that's as good as you don't know it, right? So anything I learn from anybody, I can sit down with an homeless guy. For those of you who know me, you know that I'm telling the truth. I'll sit with an homeless guy and I'll talk to the homeless guy for like 2 hours just to listen to his journey, because I believe everyone has got a story.
Yeah. Awesome. And let me see where we go here. So what is the purpose that you are willing to live for, die for, and live for and die for? Is there a purpose in your life that just means everything to you?
Okay. With that, I've actually just redefined my purpose in life. And I will say thank God to the business, the online business that I'm doing. It's exposed me to a lot of good people, a lot of good mentors, you know. So because of what I've been exposed to through the business, because when you talk about business, everyone always think about money. Personally, I don't talk about money, because to me, money will come when value is created. So my purpose is to make sure I can influence as many people as possible positively for those that want to be influenced. Because I can't force things on people, of course. No. But for those that want to be influenced, I spend a lot of time talking to people on a daily basis. That's what I do. I'm a prison officer too. I work in prison, and I'm always trying to change their lives. That's not part of my job, but I just think someone got to do it. So I'm forever trying to, I just think that's the legacy I want to leave behind. If anything happened to me tomorrow. So
yeah, nice. And it's interesting that you say that, like, it's not part of your job, but you do it. But that's part of it's just who you are.
You're just human, just being human, really,
Yeah, nice, awesome. So, what's been you've talked about challenges. What's been some of your biggest challenges? What would be one of your biggest challenges?
My biggest challenge. People actually think my biggest challenge is coming to Australia.
Yeah.
But for me, I've always felt like a fish out of water in my country. Yeah. So coming to Australia was just natural for me. I was so focused when I was coming here, even though I came with no any structured education. But I've always hungry to survive. I've always wanted to survive. And my main focus then, because focus changes and shifts all the time, was to provide for my parents. That was my number one goal, to provide for my parents. Because where I come from, for those of you who doesn't know anything about Nigeria, there's nothing like pension, there's no benefits. So your children or your family are your pension, they're your benefits. Okay. So when I was coming, all I was trying to, because this woman did so much for us, and all I was focused on is to make sure I provide for her. Yeah. And then focus changes. So going back to the question, which is, what am I?
What's some of your biggest challenges?
My biggest challenges was, number one, getting a job here. I felt at the time that it was going to be difficult, but I was lucky. My brother, because back then the rules are, if you sponsor someone to Australia, your sponsor have to get you a job. So before, they don't want you to come here, because I came in as a permanent resident. Yeah. So they don't want you to come here and be underdog. Yeah. The government don't want that kind of responsibility back then. Yeah. So they asked my brother, before we finally approve him to come over, you have to organize a job for him. Yeah. So he got me a job in a hotel called the Park Royal Hotel on South Terrace. So that was my first, that was my very first job, actually. Okay. Yeah. And then from then on, I start because I've always mixed with people from day one. Because our mom back home, she had what you refer to here as the grocery shops. She's got about 3 in the market. So we all grew up in the store. So she's always taught us how to deal with people, how to be comfortable around people, because she always believed that once you know how to talk and deal with people, you can always get what you want in life. Yeah. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Your mum just sounds like you always talk about your mum.
Yeah.
Always like everything. Yeah, but she just sounds like she was an amazing woman.
She was.
Very much so. Hey. So what's one question you wish people would ask you and why? Is there a question when someone first meets you, is there a question you wish they'd ask?
The question that I normally get asked is, where are you from? It's like, so every time I go anywhere, it doesn't matter if I go to work, it doesn't matter if I'm in the bus back then, it doesn't matter what I do, I feel like I'm talking to an immigration officer. So because everyone is like, why do you come to Australia? Well, why you there? What brought you here? Why did you come here? But I wish people would have stopped to say, why do you choose Adelaide? Out of all the cities in the world, why do you choose to come here? And then...
So why did you choose Adelaide? Why did you choose Adelaide?
Well, first of all, Adelaide wasn't a choice. I have no choice. Because they said a beggar have no choice, right? Because I just want to get out of my country, and my brother gave me the vehicle to do that. So I didn't really have a choice because he was living in South Australia then. So then he ended up being the best thing ever, because for me, I'm a very positive person. I've always been like that. I don't know how I got to be like that, but I've always been very positive within any situation that I find myself. So when I came here, veering away from the question a little bit, when I came here, because the question was, why did you choose to come here? But it wasn't a choice for me. But when I came here, I thought, because back then there's no Africans in South Australia, there's no. So to see an African person is like you see Michael Jackson or Tito or something. I feel like celebrity everywhere I go. For real. I go to the nightclub, everyone's like, everyone want to talk to you, they want to touch your hair, and touch your skin. But it was good. It was good all around. I used that positively to my advantage because I think sometimes when you're having problem in any situation or anywhere you find yourself, you have to decide. You have to get to a point where you have to ask yourself a question, a serious question, and say, am I the problem or can I be the solution? Because everything is inbuilt into us. So you have to constantly reassessing who you are. It's not something that, I know a lot of people that they will tell me, everyone knows this is who I am. But I said, who you are is not getting you anywhere. Don't you think you need to change? And change is something that a lot of people don't embrace. But change is life. Yeah. Life is change. So if you don't change, if you're not changing on a regular basis, I believe you're actually dying. You're dying slowly. So
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
What's the saying? If you're not growing, you're dying.
You're dying. That's right. But a lot of people don't really understand.
I love it. Yeah. So now, what question we're up to now is, what are 3 areas you wish to develop, enhance, or grow? So can you see, 3 areas that you'd like to grow, enhance, in your life?
I've always liked to grow on a daily basis. If I say hourly basis, it will be like a bit of exaggeration because it's what I'm actually very aware of. Because another thing, my favorite saying is awareness is an education. A lot of people think going to school or going to uni and learn a structured education is education. To me, growing up on the street, being aware of your environment is actually is bigger than going to uni, because that's what will take you to, to build you up, to deal with people, to achieve. If you're not aware, awareness is everything, right? So I've always wanted to be always a better person. What was the time now? I don't want to be the same person I was 2 hours ago. I want to see things differently. I want to deal with situations. I'm always talking to myself. Did I talk to the person right? If I'm upset with people, and I deal with the situation as best as I could at that point in time, I will go home and I'll say, did I really say the same thing? Did I supposed to act like that? So I'm always forever checking myself on what I do. So I've always liked to improve on every aspect of my life. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there's not one like you just mentioned an area of like
that's just one.
Communicating with people.
With
like
people.
You want to get you want to develop your communication, your relationships. Is there another two areas like you?
Two areas. I would say risk taking.
Risk taking.
Yeah, because to me, we've been shielded off taking risk all our life. So I'm at a point in my life now for the past 10 years before I got involved with Casablabla. I was very fortunate to have my business partner because he operates on a different level, totally different level. So this guy, you know what it said about law of association. So because of him, my thinking level is totally different now about life. So I like taking risk. I take risk a lot now.
Yep.
And when I talk about risk, I'm talking something that would totally uproot me from my comfort zone. So I don't want to be comfortable anymore. Everyone want to be comfortable. I don't want to be comfortable. I could have just stayed with my job in the prison and don't do anything else like everyone else and just do overtime if I need any extra money. We get paid very well. I'm sure some of you might not agree with me, but for me, I think we get paid very well for what we do in the prison. But I just thought I want more, because to be a leader, you have to be a leader that leads with example. You can't just lead and just say things, but you're not doing it. So I always say to my children, you got to take risks. You got to take risks. You got to take risks. And then to actually give you a tiny little bit about that. So when I was presented the opportunity to be part of Casablabla.
Yep. Do you want to just share with people where Casablabla, people might not know. I mean, a lot of people know about Casablabla, but I'm sure there's someone out there that doesn't know what Casablabla is. So can you just share what it is, where it is? Like, here's your time to... Yeah.
So for those of you in South Australia, or all around the world, because I don't know how far this is going to go. Hopefully it goes viral all over the world. But Casablabla is a multicultural tapas lounge bar. So we serve food. We're actually really popular for our food, which is Spanish influence. For those of you who doesn't know what tapas is just a little bit of everything. So you get value. You actually get good value for your money. What we serve, because we are multicultural, all our produce is halal based, because so that we can cater for, any religion or anybody. We got the best vegetarian menu. We've actually been voted to be the best vegetarian menu in South Australia.
Nice.
Yeah, because the head of the vegetarian people came here for dinner. We didn't know, but she actually put that on the website. So that's what Casablabla is. I've been involved in Casablabla for a few years now. I was given the opportunity by a gentleman called Rory Burke. Rory Burke was the original owner of a place called the Chicago. And this guy has got the most amazing, inspirational life, just like Corey. This guy lost everything, almost $2 million business at the age of 20-something, believe it or not. He lost it. He got deported back to Ireland. He's Irish. He got deported back to Ireland. He always called me almost every 2 months, and he would just call out of the blue. He would say, Moses, I'm coming back to Adelaide. If I come back, I'm going to do something that no one has ever done in Adelaide. And I used to think, this guy's off his face because he's Irish. As everyone knows, Irish people, they drink a lot. So he's probably drunk when he was calling me. But 7 years later, fast forward, all the time that he was calling me, he was in different countries. He was in Morocco. He's getting all the decoration put in a container. So he's visualized this place way before this place was born. So I get a lot of inspiration from people like that. Yeah. Anyone at that age that can lose so much and still come back and make things happen. To me, that's what life is all about. People that can inspire, and that's what I want to be.
And how is Rory? How is
Rory just turned 40.
But he started a long time.
He started a long time. He's always been a businessman.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So it's got huge. The second thing is taking risk.
Yep.
You asked me three.
Sorry, I asked you three things.
Three things. So the third thing is to improve my relationship with my children, with my partner, with life itself, with my bosses. And so I'm always about learning, just going back to what I said before. Because sometimes we do things without even realizing that what we're doing is hurting someone else, but you just do it because that's what we do. We can't even explain it. That's why it's not good to judge people, because you never know, being thrown in that situation, you'll probably make the same decision. So no one is perfect. They say that. Even me talking like this, I'm always trying to reassess what I do on a daily basis. Yeah,
nice. So that's cool. So how should we measure our lives? In years, in moments, in accomplishments, or something else? How should we measure our lives, do you believe?
I believe that life should be measured in moments.
Nice.
Because moments is what defines the future. Yeah.
I agree. That's wicked. That's beautiful.
Yeah, because you see, you can't measure your life with what you've achieved in the past, because they said the past is always, that's why they call it the past. I don't speak English very well. The past means something that is gone. So, but some people, they live in the past. We're in 2020. So 2020 is a different ball game. It's a different world. There's so many opportunities, but people think there's less opportunity in 2020. But there's so many opportunities. You have opportunity to make money. They call it different names. So network marketing call it residual income, right? The real estate industry call it passive income, right? And then the entertainers call it royalties. It's all the same thing. It basically means making money while you're sleeping. And I believe it was Robert Kiyosaki that said, not until when you make money while you're sleeping, you're not living. You're going to work till you die, So, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Awesome. So you measure in moments.
I measure in moments, because moments can take you anywhere. I didn't know I'd be doing this. It's a privilege for me to be doing this, because I've always wanted to have a media where I can share my story with people. Hopefully, it will inspire others. Because living in moments, I believe, is the best. So I'll share another thing with you, if we have time.
Yeah, good time.
A lot of people live their life like when you're driving a vehicle. So when you're driving, you have that massive windscreen that shows you where you're going, right? But most people, they choose to focus on the tiny little mirror, the rear view mirror they call it, that shows them where they're coming from. So they're so blind by where they're going. So people have to start rethinking how they live their lives, because not everything is about money. You can make money, and I know a lot of people that have money and they're not happy. Trust me. And they commit suicide anyway. I can give you tens of examples, right? So people should start asking themselves questions. If this person at that stage or at that point in their life can take their life with everything they've acquired, what is missing in humanity? Because we're so disconnected. I believe so. So I think living in moments gives you opportunities. Living in moments provide a lot for you, because you see life clearly, your brain is activated. So everything is about living in moment for me.
Yeah. I agree with everything that you said. It was really cool.
Thank you.
Is community, I know you're gonna love this one, is community an important part of society, having a community?
I'm telling you, I'm a big believer in community. We as humans, please, whoever is watching this video, I want you to take this on board. We are the only species on this planet Earth, living species, as educated as we are, as advanced as we think we are, but we've been brainwashed into believing that we can exist alone. And I believe that's why we have crisis in the world today within ourselves. When I first came to Australia 27 years ago, you never hear anything about mental health. In the last few years, when I say few years, I mean 10 years. Every time you talk to people now, it's all about mental health because people don't communicate anymore. People don't talk anymore. People don't share their feelings with anybody anymore. Or even if they want to do, people don't have time to listen to them anymore. So we are living in a drone-like society, in a zombie world, zombie land, and it's impacting on our lives. So I've always believed that community is a big part. Look at every living, watch Animal Planet, and you see all the monkeys, all the hyenas, they all coexist. We are the only species on this planet, like I said. We don't even sleep with our kids anymore. We don't even hug our baby. We say, I want to sleep. I want to have a good sleep. Why do you have a baby? You know, because that's the bonding time. Even a chicken, they have a baby, they guide that baby till the baby can fly. The bird, they do the same. The lions in the jungle do the same. The monkeys, the hyenas, they all do the same. But except for humans, we have kids and we don't even want to be around our kids. So I think I'm not a doctor. I don't even have any education, but I always, like I said earlier on, I'm always very aware of things. I question a lot of things. I think we humans, we're so disconnected from nature and we're supposed to coexist with nature, right? And I think that's why we're having problems that we're having now. That's why we lack happiness, we lack empathy, we lack sympathy. People don't care about others anymore. And it's getting worse. It's getting to a worrying stage, you know.
It's scary.
Yeah, so I believe in coexistence.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Awesome. So, what haven't you taken the time to learn about? Is there something you haven't learned about?
Swimming.
Swimming. Okay. Yeah, right.
Because black people can swim. So I've always wanted to learn how to swim. Nice. And I'll tell you guys a funny story. So a few years ago, about, I don't know, way back when I first came to Australia, because during summer, everyone had barbecue, everyone invite everyone join. I go to this house, everyone is jumping in the pool, and Moses is just standing there like, what the hell? And everyone is like, come in. I'm like, no, I can't swim. And they go, no, you can't, you're tall, you can just stand on this side. And so anyway, that went on for a few years. And there's a in-law of mine, her name is Rebecca Shipway. And one day she said, they got a swimming pool at the house. And she goes, Moses, on your days off, you can come to the house, I'll teach you how to swim. Mind you, back then, Becky was like 16 or something. She goes, I'll teach you how to swim. So I went there. And then she's telling me, she's getting me this board to hold on to and to be, paddling, smashing my legs. Then about 30 minutes later, Betty went in to get some drinks because it was a very hot summer day. She went to get some drinks and she couldn't find me. And I was drowning because I wasn't aware that the swimming pool has got different levels. So I'm just going like this. I'm going into the deep end and I just went down. I just kept drinking water, thinking I can drink myself out of the pool. Right? So Betty is calm. Like I said, Becky was like 16 at the time. She's jumped into the pool, dragged me on the board and put me on the side of the pool. And I don't know what she did, but water was just coming out of my mouth. And, but she's, I survived. But since then, I've been very scared to go in the water. As much as I love water, I'm so scared. I go to the beach a lot just to walk around. I find it very therapeutic. So I do that on a regular basis. Yeah, I would love to know how to swim.
Nice. When are you going to take the first lesson?
I don't know. Whoever has got enough confidence to teach me, I'll be up for it.
So in other words, if there's anyone out there that can teach Moses how to swim, he's up. He's ready for a teacher. So when was the last time you were out of it? You talk about your comfort zone. Well, actually, I think you've answered that, but just tell us again, when was the last time you were out of your comfort zone and how did you feel afterwards? So once you'd gotten out of your comfort zone, done something, how did it make you feel afterwards? Positive, negative? Like?
Okay. Recently, I just opened another business called the Mobile Master in Rundle Mall. So my business partner this time is a Chinese guy. His name is Kevin Nguyen. So Kevin, I met through one of our conference because Kevin, by profession, is what they call a buyer's agent. A buyer's agent in real estate is someone that buys property for people in overseas. So he's their eyes and he is in Australia. So this guy, I've got huge respect for him because he's a very young guy. He's only 27. But Kevin has never worked for anyone in his life, you know.
Yeah.
So he's done a lot of things since he's been in Australia. He established himself. Kevin has been in the mobile phone repair industry for the past 6 years.
Wow.
Since he was like 18 while he was doing other things, right? So I've taken phone to repair at his shop a few times, and I see how this guy is into details. So I've always respected him for his craft. Then I believe it was in September last year, Kevin had a fallout with his original business partner. And he said to me, I've always wanted to open a store in Rundle Mall. And I'm like, I didn't say anything because I didn't think he was even talking to me. So, and I said, yeah, just do it. He goes, no. It's very expensive to have a store in Rundle Mall, you know? So I said, like, how much you looking at, you know? Didn't have a figure at the time. He said, but there are 2 stores vacant. No, one is vacant. One is about to be vacant because, like I said, Kevin is a buyer's agent. He's got connections in real estate, commercial properties. So someone have told him what's going on with a business is about to go bankrupt. So Kevin went there to assess this business. He knew the business was going down. Kevin shared that story with me. So he took me there. We went to the mall. We went 5 times in 1 week just to see the traffic up as opposed to the vacant place. The vacant place is actually cheaper than where we are now. But we put heads together. Like I said, everything is about teamwork with Kevin's partner, and we both decide that this store will be the best because it's Spank Bank in the middle. It's next to Cayman. It's directly opposite Hotel Richmond. So from then on, we start going there just to see what the traffic is like. Because prior to this, I don't go to the mall. I do all my shopping online. All my clothes are designed. So I don't really know anything about going to Rundle Mall or going to the store. I don't have any business there. But then I'm beginning to see. And then Kevin said, let's approach this guy that we know what he's going through. So we're like a saving grace for this guy. So we bought him out of his contract. He was only 6 months into his business and he signed for 2 years. So we bought the 18 months lease from him. We saved him hundreds of thousands of dollars, right?
And a lot of stress.
And a lot of stress. So Kevin said, so I said to Kevin, if this guy agreed to transfer the lease, we can do this. And then he goes, you sure you want to be part of this? I said, well, let's talk about figures. And he broke it down. He showed me the figure. He told me how much we'll be targeting. And I thought, I still don't know what he was talking about, to tell you the truth. But like I said earlier on, I've always been a risk taker. And believe it or not, the following week, so this is gone for 3 weeks. 1 week of assessing the location, 2 weeks of talking about the business. The third week, we talk about money. And I go, yeah, I'll do it. So we were actually coming from one of our meetings, ACN meeting, on a Saturday. And he wasn't driving. Someone dropped him off. So I said, I'll take you home. And we were going home. I go, I'll just give you the money. He's going, Like now? I said, yeah, it was on a Saturday.
Wow.
So we did all the transfer, and then that was on Saturday. On Monday, he goes, let's go to China. I'm like, Kevin, please. I can't go to China. I got to take holidays from my prison job. I got to organize my stuff at Casa Blah Blah. I can't just go like that. So he goes, I'm going because I want to make sure we open before Christmas. So to cut the story short, I gave Kevin the money because you were telling me how do I feel after taking the risk, after getting out of my comfort zone. Of course I was scared, like anything else. I gave him the money and he drove away, and I'm thinking, what have I just done? I just signed my whole life away to this guy.
Wow.
I barely know this guy, but I trust, I feel the trust.
Like a gut feeling.
That day, because someone taught me a long time ago, don't think with your brain, because brain is emotionally wired. Always think with your heart, because the heart is where the real thing comes from, right? So I always feel this guy. Anytime I see him, we went to America together. I like his nature. He doesn't behave like a typical Asian person. I'm sorry if you're an Asian,
or 27.
Or 27-year-old.
Yeah.
He's so mature for his age. And the reason why he's mature, I'll talk about that a little bit, because to me, your age is not your age like your numbers. Your age is what you've been exposed to. Because some people can be 40 years old. They've never been through any hardship in their life. So to me, their mentality is like a 10-year-old who's still living at home. You know, so I always believe that the more problem you have, the better you're well equipped for real life. So when I look at all what this guy has done, I had that trust in him.
Yeah.
Anyway, to cut the story short, Kevin went to China, and twice he was in China. He got me hooked up on what they call WeChat, and then he told me what's going on, what he's buying, and I still don't understand anything, but I just trust him anyway. And then he did all the buying and all that, and everything started arriving. By the time everything arrived, it took another 2 weeks, and then we got the store, and we don't even have any shelving to display our product. So we begged the guy that was moving out to leave his shelving there. So that's what we're still using. And then, so we've been operating for 3 months. On the 12th of March was our 3-month anniversary. And we still haven't got our product because of the coronavirus going on in China. Because everything is coming from China. But how do I feel? It's just like any new thing that you do. One thing that I always advise people, any new thing you're going to do, let's say you got a job today. Let's say you got a degree and you get a job, right? You do the job for smart people, maybe 6 months max. For someone like me, it might take me 12 months. But once you get your head around what you're supposed to be doing, it becomes another routine.
Yeah.
So people love routine. I don't like routine. I like to challenge, because when I'm getting into that routine, I'm asking myself, what is the next project that I need to get involved in? So it becomes a routine. It's like people want to buy a house, they're scared. But they're making money. It's been breaking down for them and say, you can afford this loan, but they're still scared. But the few that will go ahead to do it, within 8 months, it's just a routine. That money you don't even see your money. It just goes straight from your account. It becomes another routine. And you'll be asking yourself, why didn't I do this all along? So that's the same feeling I have. But I was worried because it was a lot of money. So I was a bit worried, but 3 months, we've been blessed.
Yeah, nice. Awesome. So what do we got now? We got, do you have a vision for your life? What is your vision for your life?
My vision for my life is to be able to inspire as many people, touch. So when I was growing up, I'll go back to my mom again. My mom used to tell us that everyone you meet in your entire life, anyone that comes in contact with you, make sure you leave a piece of you in that person's life. And because we're kids, we don't understand, how do you leave a piece of you in people's life, right? Then I went on one trip when I came to Australia. I was 19 when my brother brought me here. And then I went on holiday because my brother sent me back to make sure my mom is okay. So I went there with a lot of things to do. And then I asked her, I said, you told us a lot of things when we were growing up, but this leaving a piece of you in someone, what do you mean by that? She said, it's so simple. Just be humble.
Yeah.
Just be nice to people. People will never forget anyone that is nice to them.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah.
ever since then, I try to teach that to people. So anyone that comes in contact with me, I always try to, it doesn't matter business, it doesn't matter in the prison, I always try to leave a piece of myself in that person.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. So how do you want to be remembered? I mean, does that align with your vision? Like, so long way down the track, you know, we all face that time in life when we're not going to be here, but how do you want people to remember you?
I would love people to remember me as Moses, a unique guy. I don't want people to say he's a black dude, even though I'm a black guy. You know, I can't help that. But I don't want that to be part of my definition. You know, because me, I'm like my brother. My brother has always called himself a citizen of the world. So I've always looked at myself as a citizen of the world. This is another thing that I want to share with people that our mom taught us. Our mom used to say that when you see anybody, don't see color, don't see race, don't see language, don't see wheelchair, don't see fat, don't see skinny, don't see nothing. Just see a human being in front of you.
Wow.
If you can practice that on a daily basis, it becomes part of you. What that does, every single person you meet will feel comfortable around you, because people can feel what you feel. It's energy, you know. So if you can do that, you will. So I hope people can remember me as one of those people. I really don't care about people's status. I don't care if you're rich or poor or the governor of the world. I don't care. I just see human. If a homeless guy want to talk to me, I talk to them. So yeah, that's what I want to be remembered.
I like how you said, it was interesting that you said that you have to, that's something you got to practice.
Yeah, you have
because
to.
It's
very hard.
Yeah,
It's very hard.
Like it's hard.
But once you are aware of it,
yeah,
it becomes easy.
Yeah.
They said practice makes better. When I was growing up, they said practice makes perfect. Nobody will ever be perfect. Honestly, for those of you who think you're perfect, you can never be perfect, because you'll be better. Because there's always room for improvement. You know, you can always improve. You know, so yeah.
Nice. And I guess this is my final question.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even a question. What is your message for the world?
My message for the world, I got a few messages.
Nice.
Number one is, for those of you who've got kids, right? Allow your children to be, which means allow them to take risk, allow them to jump, allow them to eat dirt, allow them to do what kids are meant to do. So we don't put all these restrictions in their life that will affect their life when all of a sudden you blink, your little Johnny is a teenager. He can't go out and talk to people. He can't go out and get a job. And then you say, just go and do it. And he's thinking, or she's thinking, all my life you tell me not to do things. And now you're telling me to do things. So it's very conflicting. That's one of my messages. And that's for people that's got children. For individuals, please challenge on a daily basis, whichever way you can, challenge your comfort zone. Anything new, embrace change, because nothing stays the same. That's what Luther Vandross, there's one of my favorite singers. He said, nothing stays the same. Everything happens. Changes happens every single day. And he said, little miracles happen every day, only for people that can see it, that are aware of it.
Yeah.
And the last thing is opportunities. We live in 2020. This is 2020, right? There are more, believe it or not, people think computers and technology is taking our job. is doing this, is making people unemployed. It's actually creating more opportunities only for positive thinkers. So you got to change your mind and go with the change. Always remember, anytime you change, things happen. You make decision to change, you'll be amazed. It's so magical. I'm a living proof of that. Things will just happen. Don't worry about money. Money will come. Just create value for who you are first. Number one thing is value. I learned that from a business partner. He said, once you create value, then the money will come. Because you cannot have money with no value. So once you have value, there's value in who you are, what your employer employ you to do, you create that value for yourself. You have a business, you create a value for the customers. Customers don't care about money because they come to your business to spend money anyway. So once they get something that they can't get anywhere else, they will always come to you, regardless of how much it costs. That's why you can see all the name brand. I don't do brands. I create my own brand. But all the name brands like Gucci, think about it. People can just go and buy a bag that just looks the same, a leather bag, same leather. They can get it for, I don't know, I'm not a woman, but they can, thank God my partner doesn't go crazy about things like that. But most women will rather buy a Gucci bag. That's the only thing that comes to mind because that's all I know. I hate people spending $8,000 on one bag, but they buy it because of value. So it's not about the money anymore because we've been brainwashed to put money before everything. Whatever makes you happy, just do it. And don't judge people. I don't judge anyone that spent $8,000 on a bag. If they can afford it, so be it. Even if they can't afford it, if it makes them feel good in any way, go for it. Life is too short. We can drop dead tomorrow. So you got to do what makes you happy, right? Everyone says that, but they don't practice it. So my message to everyone that's watching this, I'll encourage you to practice what you preach. Be happy. You know, my mom used to say to us, don't ever do things if you're not happy. Forget about the money. Just be happy because it's so easy to get lost in the wave of what's going on around us and life and all that stuff. So you got to create your own happiness. Nobody can make you happy. People can be part of your happiness, but deep down, you have to create your own happiness. Yeah. True. So that's my message.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Moses. I really appreciate your time. It's always a pleasure and I always learn something, and I'm sure the viewers out there, they definitely learn something. And
I hope they do.
Oh, I know they will.
I hope they do.
Unless they're not listening.
Thanks for having me.
Not a problem, my friend.
Really appreciate it.
So everyone out there, if you like what I do, please subscribe. If you'd like to pay it forward, please share. And don't forget to hit the notification bell because I've got lots more videos coming out soon. Thank you very much. Have a fantastic day.